Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to another live show on the channel. I'm sorry I'm about 4 minutes late to this live stream. I've had to restart my Wi-Fi because it's just been really bad. So I do apologise. This is a little bit of lag or blur. Hopefully it's going to sort itself out. But we've got lots to talk about in today's video. There's some transfer news regarding ENZO, Fernandes, NUNEZ, TCHOUAMENI, a couple other players that we've been linked to. We're going to be talking about the Liverpool game later on, the Glazers out protest we're going to touch on. We're going to talk a little bit about the Norwich game, some thoughts on that, some other stuff that's gone on. Could Manchester United get top four? All of that. But first of all, I want to get into some comments Roy Keane made and actually, more importantly, address the fact that Paul Pogba was booed yesterday at the match. And I want to first of all say Paul Pogba should not be getting booed. I don't think any player should be getting booed. I understand why the team as a collective would get booed because the Manchester United team has not been good enough. They deserve to be booed maybe as a collective. But Paul Pogba, of all the players, should not be getting booed. Okay? Now, look, before I go in and I protect Pogba and I jump on Pogba and I'm going to protect him and all of that, because I think the way Pogba's been treated by the club and by some fans is awful. I will say I'm not Pogba FC. I'm not the biggest admirer of Pogba. I do want him to leave in the summer because I know he's a talented player, but it's just not worked out for Paul Pogba. And I do understand why people are frustrated with Paul Pogba. Is he leaving? Is he staying? Mino Raiola this, Mino Raiola that. For 100 million, it's been very inconsistent. Jogpa in a few games. I do understand that. But for purely footballing reasons, why is Paul Pogba being the player targeted out that it's apparently okay to boo? This is what I've got a problem with, because it's not Paul Pogba's fault he's here. Paul Pogba would have left Man United 2 years ago if we let him leave. We forced him to stay. He's running down his contract because we forced him to stay. Okay, Paul Pogba. I'm not making excuses for Paul Pogba being inconsistent. But we've never actually built a system around Paul Pogba. We've had Ollie, who's ruined 3 years of Paul Pogba's career. No system, playing him out of position, playing in different positions. We didn't build a team around Paul Pogba. We didn't make him the star. When we did build a team around Paul Pogba, and it was Matic, Pogba, Bruno, and Matic, Herrera, Pogba, brilliant. He was brilliant in midfield, but we have a shit midfield he's had to work with. What is it about Paul Pogba that makes it okay to boo Paul Pogba? Because my problem is not necessarily the booing Paul Pogba. My problem is when Maguire gets booed, Spurs tweet, oh, we're with Maguire. The media going, we're with Maguire. Southgate comes out. Jordan Henderson comes out. Harry Kane comes out. Manchester United come out and say we all stand with Maguire and we all must cheer Maguire. It's so unfair. Maguire's being booed. Pogba's been booed. Absolute silence. Nothing. What is going on here? Why is the club sticking up for Maguire being booed and not sticking up for Paul Pogba being booed? What is it? Because if I'm not saying Maguire deserves to be booed, but Maguire deserves more criticism than Paul Pogba because Maguire's been playing every single game. He's meant to be captain of this club, so essentially he has a bigger role than Paul Pogba. And Maguire's been 10 times worse than Paul Pogba. But no, we can't boo Maguire. We're horrid if we boo Maguire, but apparently it's acceptable if we boo Paul Pogba. And this is what I've got a little bit of a problem with. Because I think the booing of Paul Pogba is a little bit more than footballing reasons. Why are we not standing up for Paul Pogba when he's been booed, but we're standing up for Harry Maguire? Because of the English bias in the media. If Paul Pogba was white, if Paul Pogba was English, everyone would be outraged that he'd been booed. But it's okay. Paul Pogba, Man United are happy Paul Pogba being booed. I bet you the social media team, the board at Man United, they're going, well, it's good that Paul Pogba's being booed. He's leaving in the summer. We don't care about the fans' relationship with Paul Pogba. Let's let the fans boo Paul Pogba to distract them from Maguire. Because you know what? The people at Man United higher up want to build a team around Maguire, McTominay, Rashford, Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw. They want to have this British team of average players. They don't want to build a team around someone like Paul Pogba. They would rather Paul Pogba be booed in the scapegoat, and they'll do anything to protect their little British academy players. And it really annoys me because it's the English bias. You can even argue, is it racism at this rate? But what really annoys me, what really annoys me is not just that the fact that Maguire gets protection and Paul Pogba doesn't. But why was it Paul Pogba? Out of all the players on the Manchester United pitch, why was Paul Pogba the one that the fans decided to boo? Why? Did Paul Pogba have the worst game on that pitch? No. I think Paul Pogba was one of the better players. Now, Paul Pogba, I don't think was good, but Ronaldo was good. De Gea was good. Paul Pogba, probably the third best player on that pitch for a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Wasn't that bad. Who was worse than Paul Pogba? Maguire was miles worse than Paul Pogba. Delot was worse than Paul Pogba. Tellez was way worse than Paul Pogba. And I love Bruno Fernandes, but he was way worse than Paul Pogba on the pitch against Norwich. But again, It's Paul Pogba being booed. Paul Pogba being booed. You know? What? No, Maguire's not getting booed. Rashford was god awful, not getting booed. McTominay never gets booed. Pogba gets booed. And this is what I don't get, because if we're going off pure footballing reasons, then Paul Pogba isn't the player we should be booing. I don't think we should be booing any player. But for me, it feels like it's a bit more. It's a little bit more than footballing reasons why we're targeting Paul Pogba. And not only Paul Pogba's the player getting booed, but no one wants to protect Paul Pogba being booed. Our captain, Harry Maguire, who had every single man protecting him when he got booed, he is captain. He said nothing about Paul Pogba getting booed. Harry Kane's and all these people spoke up saying don't boo Maguire, but Maguire's not going to speak up and say don't boo Paul Pogba. What kind of captain mentality is that? I will talk about Harry Maguire being captain, because Harry Maguire doesn't do post-match reactions anymore. De Gea does. Harry Maguire does not demand at the back. De Gea does. And Harry Maguire's been moved to right centre-back. You know, we're almost making a team to accommodate Harry Maguire. But I just want to go back to my point. You know what really irritates me? Now I'm going to get into the live chat in just a second, because I've ignored the live chat for the first 5 minutes of this video. But what really irritates me, and I tweeted this earlier, these top Reds, there are Man United fans that give me a lot of stick going, you know, you only go to 3 games a year. You know, I do. I only go to Old Trafford 2-3 times a year. I'm not going to lie. You're a horrid United fan. You're always complaining on your live streams. I get stick from top Reds going, stupid fan camera, stupid fan channel. You're not a proper United fan. You don't live in Manchester. All this stick saying that I'm the reason. Apparently, these are the people that will tell me I'm the reason, and people like me are the reason the fan base is toxic. Yeah, I'm sitting here trying to protect Paul Pogba, whereas these top Reds that give us all these fan channels all this stick, they give all these fan channels all this stick saying that we've made this United community toxic. These top Red fans are the ones that are cheering Harry Maguire on, saying it's disgraceful Harry Maguire's being booed, it's disgraceful. And then they're doing these anti-Paul Pogba tweets. There's a few of them, there's a few quite big accounts on Twitter, and I'm sure you know who I'm talking about, who are saying Harry Maguire shouldn't be getting booed. Why is everyone so horrid to Maguire? Everyone's using Maguire as a scapegoat. Maguire gets too much abuse. And these same people will go, I'm glad Paul Pogba gets booed. Paul Pogba's a disgrace to this club. And I've actually seen tweets about Paul Pogba that I won't even quote, because I think he could be interpreted as actually quite racially attacking. And it's what irritates about this fan base is this double standard. It's been made by the media. This double standard has been absolutely made by the media, where if you're an English, British academy player and you're white, you're going to be protected no matter what. But if you're Paul Pogba, you're French, you're Martial, we're not going to protect you. You're not going to care about you. And they're United fans that honestly, all they do is slate Paul Pogba but protect Harry Maguire. Why are you protecting Harry Maguire like your life depends on it and slate Paul Pogba? The only reason I'm using Harry Maguire as an example is because he was also booed. But, you know, if these fans are so saying, you know, stop the Harry Maguire abuse, but they're jumping on the Paul Pogba abuse, what is it about Paul Pogba that means he deserves more abuse than Harry Maguire? I don't think any player deserves abuse. I think Paul Pogba does deserve some criticism. Harry Maguire deserves some criticism. Luke Shaw deserves some criticism. Bruno deserves some criticism. Of course, this United fan, all these United players deserve some criticism. But what is it about Paul Pogba that some of these fans think it's okay to send Paul Pogba all this abuse, but when Harry Maguire gets abuse, it's not okay? Why are we jumping to Harry Maguire's rescue but not Paul Pogba? What's the difference between Harry Maguire and Paul Pogba? They're both people. Why? So we can protect Maguire but not Pogba. They're both people. I know what it is. It's Maguire's British, Maguire's academy player, and it absolutely irritates me. You know, I don't like this, just the way that they act. I do not like it. I do not like it. Top Reds, I don't want to make this whole video a rant about how, you know, there's abuse towards Paul Pogba, but it really, really frustrates me. But we're going to get back into some of the talking points of this video. I wanted to get my rant out of the way. I wanted to address it. So, guys, please do hit that like button if you have not already, and of course, subscribe down below if you're new. But I want to talk about something that Roy Keane said that I saw going about, and basically, Roy Keane 2.5 years ago. This was 2019. Roy Keane in 2019 said, when Man United lost, he said leopards don't change their spots. You guys will probably remember this. I would play the clip, but I'll get copyrighted by Sky Sports. You know what? I'll retweet the clip on Twitter, so you know the clip I'm talking about. But I saw a clip of Roy Keane, and it was after Man United lost the game under Ollie 2.5 years ago, back in 2009, where Roy Keane said these players threw Mourinho on the bus, these players will throw Ollie under the bus, and these players will throw the next manager after Ollie under the bus. Leopards don't change their spots. These players are in a top 4 battle. They've let the standards of this club drop. And this was an interview from Roy Keane 3 years ago. 3 years ago. And I was watching it today. And I thought everything that Roy Keane had said in that interview 3 years ago, you know, is still the case today. Roy Keane said 3 years ago they're going to throw Ollie under the bus, they'll throw the next manager under the bus, and we shouldn't be in a top 4 race, but we're letting the standards drop. What are we right now? Players not trying, players throwing manager on the bus in a top 4 race. There's this weird cycle going on at Manchester United at the moment, which I absolutely cannot stand. I cannot stand this weird cycle. And it's been going on, and I say going on at the moment, this weird cycle has been going on at Manchester United ever since Sir Alex left. Ever since Sir Alex has left, manager comes in, okay? It looks okay for a bit, rebuild, get excited, shit show. Players give up, turn on the manager, dressing room is awful, dressing room leaks. New manager comes in, gets better temporarily, shit show. Players throw next manager under the bus, dressing room leaks, rebuild. Every single manager has been thrown under the bus. And I went back to this Roy Keane interview, and Roy Keane's predicted it. Every single manager, these players are thrown under the bus. And this is, Erik ten Hag is an absolute brilliant manager. And I really hope that these players do not throw him under the bus, because it's going to be a difficult first season under Erik ten Hag. It's going to be a really, really difficult season under Erik ten Hag for a lot of these United players, because Erik ten Hag plays a very, very different style of football to what these players have been used to. Erik ten Hag is a very, very demanding coach. I got some quotes, actually, and we'll talk about that. We'll read out later. But, you know, Donny van der Beek, according to the Mirror, had been telling his Manchester United teammates that it's going to be very different under Erik ten Hag. Erik ten Hag demands a lot more from you. Training sessions under Erik ten Hag are a lot more intense. He's a lot more strict about your diet, what you do. You know, and if these Man United players were complaining about RANGNICK giving them homework, complaining about RANGNICK making training sessions longer, some of these United players are really not going to be able to cope under Erik ten Hag, because he's going to demand a lot more than them. He's going to demand a lot more control, a lot more discipline, and to work a lot harder. And a lot of these United players, they're absolutely going to crumble. A lot of people asking my thoughts on the Ajax loss. I will talk about that. It's just a cup game. You know, I don't think it's any connection, but yeah, I think Ajax were quite good as well. Actually, did watch a bit of the game. But as Noah says in the chat, these players could ruin ten Hag. And Noah, you're right. I'm worried, because I go back to what Roy Keane said. They ruined, I wouldn't say they ruined Ollie. They threw Mourinho under the bus. They threw Ollie under the bus. They're throwing RANGNICK under the bus. I'm worried these players are going to throw Erik ten Hag under the bus, because Erik ten Hag, unless he's allowed freedom in his rebuild, the only way Erik ten Hag does not get thrown under the bus is if the Glazers let him sell whichever player he wants. You know, the board are obsessed with your Maguires, your McTominay's, your Rashfords. But if Ten Hag doesn't want Maguire, McTominay, and Rashford, let him get rid of them. Our club do not want to get rid of Maguire, McTominay, and Rashford. In fact, it really annoys me that Manchester United, the people hired at Manchester United, can't wait to get rid of Paul Pogba, can't wait to get rid of Ronaldo, can't wait to get rid of Martial, but they won't want to get rid of Wan-Bissaka, they won't want to get rid of Maguire, they won't want to get rid of McTominay, they won't want to get rid of Rashford. It really annoys me that the people higher up actually want to keep on to this crap that we have at the club. But ultimately, if we don't let Ten Hag sell the players that he's not going to use, then he is going to get thrown under the bus. And this is why it's so important for me that Man United keep their word 100% that they are going to back Ten Hag, and they're going to let Ten Hag get rid of who he wants to get rid of. Because if we don't let him sell players that are bad eggs, those bad egg players will still be here underperforming, throwing under the bus, and essentially not being good enough. And a couple of people spoke out about Ten Hag. William Jansen, who used to play under Erik ten Hag in the early days of his career, said that Ten Hag is a very professional and highly demanding manager. He said that Erik ten Hag demands everything from a player and he creates a winning environment, but every detail is key. One of Erik ten Hag's ex-players also said when Ten Hag came, the mentality changed. It changed some time before. The mentality of all the players at the club changed a lot because of him. And this is William Jansen, who used to play under Ten Hag. And he said that when Ten Hag came, he demanded a lot from them. He wanted to create this winning environment. He demanded a lot from his players. And the mentality of that club changed. The mentality changed a lot. And this is what we need at Manchester United. We need a big, big mentality change. And I'm hoping Ten Hag can be the man to do this. He's going to have a very highly demanding environment. He wants to create a winning environment. He's going to demand a lot. And Ten Hag has that character that's maybe needed in the Manchester United dressing room. Because no disrespect to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I do like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but then, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was too weak. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is partly the reason behind this big mess at Manchester United right now. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a big reason behind the big mess at Manchester United right now, because he's been too nice to the players. He's protected them. He's let them walk all over him. And, you know, these players, you know, are so used to getting what they want. As soon as these Man United things don't start to go the Man United players' way, as soon as these Man United players are given homework or have to have a longer day of training, they're complaining, they're throwing the manager under the bus. RANGNICK was here 3 weeks. RANGNICK wasn't even here 3 weeks before dressing room leaks came out against Ralf Rangnick. Wasn't even here 3 weeks before dressing room links came out anti-Ralf Rangnick. Players throwing Ralf Rangnick under the bus. It's an absolute disgrace. And ERIK is going to come in and he's going to demand lots from these players. And I better hope they do not throw him under the bus. The Glazers should get rid of the troublemakers like Bruno, Pogba, Ronaldo, Rashford, Lingard, Maguire, Varane, Shaw, Tellers, Delon, McTominay, Lindelof. Noah, you've just basically named the whole team. I saw the passion of Ten Hag in the Ajax match, something our players and clubs need. Yeah, I watched the Ajax PSV match. Look, Ajax did lose a cup final, but at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. Man City lost a cup semi-final to Liverpool yesterday in quite an embarrassing fashion, but would we say no to Pep Guardiola? No. Do you know what really annoys me? It's Man United fans already are using Ajax losing to PSV in the cup final to push their agenda. And there are United fans already turning on Erik Ten Hag because he lost the cup final to PSV. I'm thinking, seriously, this has to be a joke. You're already turning on Ten Hag because of a cup final to PSV. Pep Guardiola lost the cup semi-final. Pep Guardiola lost the Champions League final. Would you say no to Pep? No. So why are you using Ten Hag losing one game as a chance to be like, no, he's not good enough? You know, what really annoys about this club is when people have agendas against certain people, when the Poch Brigade have agenda against Ten Hag, they'll use Ten Hag losing that game to PSG to be like, I told you shouldn't get Ten Hag, and turn them the right way. And it really annoys me. Football champagne says United need Klopp. I would absolutely love Klopp, but we'd never get him. These players clearly want Poch. The problem is the Man United players do want Poch. And this is why I'm really glad we got Ten Hag, because the Man United players should not be allowed a say in who the next manager is, especially considering the way they've been performing lately, which makes me more and more grateful that we've got Ten Hag, if you want my honest opinion as well. Honestly, this club infuriates me. Absolutely. Back to my point earlier with the Paul Pogba stuff. I want to get into the transfer news. I want to get into all the interesting news and all of that. But, you know, big up everybody in the chat. First of all, please do hit that like button. Of course, subscribe if you're new, share the video and all of that. But what really frustrates me about this club is we're so social media driven. We're so PR driven. We're so image driven. And, you know, we've ruined players' careers. We've treated players like absolute crap. And then we prioritise players that aren't good enough. And what I mean by this is, how's Donny van der Beek been treated by Manchester United? Atrocious. How's Paul Pogba really been treated by Manchester United? Atrocious. You know, if you're thinking Man United will tweet to stick up for Harry Maguire when he gets booed, but actually Man United will happily push this Paul Pogba agenda, because you know what? There's people at Man United, I tell you this now, and this you can disagree with me, but there's people at Manchester United higher up that are probably glad Paul Pogba's getting booed, because that means when Paul Pogba leaves, it doesn't look as bad for them. When he leaves on a 3 after being our record-breaking transfer, when he leaves on a 3 for the second time, at least if the fans don't like him, it's good that he's leaving. You know, there's people in the Man United board that probably want us to hate Paul Pogba, so when he leaves on a 3, it doesn't act like they've been mugged off. It's like we wanted him gone. You know, the people in the Man United board, you know, how can they boo Harry Maguire? Let's do our social media, let's do our PR and protect Maguire. Paul Pogba gets booed, nothing. And this is because Harry Maguire is this club's angel, okay? He's this angel in the club's eyes. The board spent £80 million on Harry Maguire, okay? And they realised soon in that was a big mistake. Now, Harry Maguire, I don't think he's a bad centre-back. I think Harry Maguire right now is atrocious. He's out of form. I think in form, Harry Maguire is not a bad centre-back. But what I will say about Harry Maguire is he's £80 million. He's Manchester United captain and he plays week in, week out. Why is he captain and why does he play week in, week out when he plays this badly? Like, you know, when we used to complain about Smalling and Jones, I don't think Smalling and Jones were ever as bad as Maguire was right now. We used to complain, why are Smalling and Jones playing? Why are Smalling and Jones playing? Those performances from Smalling and Jones, while they were banterous, they still weren't as bad as Maguire's performances right now. And Maguire is Manchester United captain. But yet, you know, Maguire gets booed. Let's jump on social media and protect Maguire for being booed. Paul Pogba gets booed. Let's be silent. You know, what is it that Maguire's done that means he doesn't deserve to be booed, but Paul Pogba deserves to be booed? It's just blatant racism, isn't it? It is. Maguire's British, Maguire's white, Maguire's our star. He's not leaving the club. We're gonna jump and save him. You know, Paul Pogba's leaving the club in the summer, not our problem. That is how United are thinking. That's 100% how we're thinking. And it really, really irritates me because the people at this club are basically forcing Rangnick to play Maguire. Have you noticed? Harry Maguire has not been stripped of captaincy, and Harry Maguire starts week in, week out. But why is that? Because I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but have you kind of seen that Ralf Rangnick almost trying to slowly phase Maguire out? You know, the reason Ralf Rangnick cannot strip Maguire of captaincy and drop him is because the board won't let Ralf Rangnick drop Maguire. I know this. The board, because they spent 80 million on Maguire and they don't want to lose face, that is why Maguire's captain. They spent 80 million on him and they think, okay, he's not worth 80 million, but if he's captain and plays week in, week out, we can say he's worth a big chunk of money. The board tell Ralf Rangnick to play Maguire and keep him as captain. That is fact, because they don't want to lose face that he is a flop. Okay, so Ralf Rangnick cannot strip Maguire of captaincy. He cannot completely drop Harry Maguire. The board will not let him do that because there's too much power higher up in the club. But what Ralf Rangnick is doing, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this, Maguire is now the right side of centre back, not the left side of centre back. You know, Maguire is now the second man. Have you noticed that when Maguire and Lindelof play, Lindelof's the one commanding. Lindelof's the main centre back. Maguire's the little sweeper, backup centre back. Maguire's meant to be the big, physical, Vidic main man centre back, and whoever's next to Maguire is meant to be his partner. But right now, Maguire's just partnering a centre back. Maguire's the one that stays off. You know what? Lindelof is not physical. Why is he coming up for these duels? Why is Lindelof doing all the commanding? Why is Lindelof seem like the main centre back and Maguire's now shifted to the right and Lindelof's little pairing when Harry Maguire's meant to be captain? Why is that? Because Ralf Rangnick knows that Harry Maguire isn't good enough to be playing. But Ralf Rangnick knows he's got no choice but to start Harry Maguire because the board will not let us drop or strip Harry Maguire of captaincy because they don't want to cause a scene. They don't want people to be like, £80 million flop. They've messed up again. It's true. Have you noticed? Harry Maguire's meant to be captain. What De Gea does every team talk. When we lose, when we win, it's De Gea. You know, as United captain, shouldn't Harry Maguire be the one coming out after we lose 4-1 to Man City and saying that was not good enough? Why is it David De Gea coming out saying it's a disgrace? Why is it David De Gea coming out after every single game? Or Ronaldo coming out, or Bruno coming out, or Scott McTominay coming out? Why is Captain Harry Maguire not doing press conferences anymore, not doing post-match interviews? Because Harry Maguire has been absolutely crap in every single game, and Harry Maguire, he's basically just got the captain's armband, but he's not a captain. The captain's armband on Harry Maguire is about as useful as using a banana skin as a condom. It is just there for show. It is just there for social media. It is just there for PR. After the Norwich game, every single Man United player was lined up and Ronaldo was talking to them, giving them a speech, motivating them, talking to them about the game. Ronaldo doing all these chats, all these leadership chats. Maguire's just standing there, oh, listen. De Gea's coming out post-match reactions, doing the interviews and all of that. Maguire, dead silence. Why is this, guys? Why is this? Why is this? Because Harry Maguire is only Manchester United captain for scenes. Harry Maguire is only Manchester United captain for PR, for social media, because United do not want to cause a big issue and strip captaincy of Harry Maguire. We want to slowly fade captaincy away from Harry Maguire. This is our whole game plan. It's to slowly fade the captaincy away from Harry Maguire. You know, Harry Maguire's gone from being captain, being a more dominant figure in the dressing room, playing on the left side of the defence and actually doing team talks, to actually, if you notice it now, De Gea's doing all the post-match reactions. De Gea is. Ronaldo's doing all the team talks. Lindelof's the commanding centre-back. Lindelof the commanding centre-back. De Gea doing the post-match reactions. Ronaldo doing the team talks. Harry Maguire is not Manchester United captain anymore. Harry Maguire literally isn't Manchester United captain. He just wears the armband because the board tell Rangnick, and I know this, the board tell Rangnick he cannot strip Maguire of captaincy. The board do not want to lose faces to the flop. If you strip Maguire of captaincy mid-season, what does that cause? An absolute scene. It causes an absolute scene if you strip Maguire of captaincy mid-season. It causes the media to go off and all of that. You know, so Harry Maguire's armband is just there so we don't get this media reaction, this PR reaction. The club don't want a negative PR media reaction around Maguire because he's their £80 million star. It is just there for show. It is literally wrap the armband around Maguire. It is there for show because we can't strip it. Rangnick can't strip it. Do you know? Because if you know what, if Harry Maguire really was Rangnick's captain, he'd be doing the team talks, not Ronaldo. He'd be doing the post-match interviews, not David De Gea, and he would be the commanding centre-back. If you look at the Man United defence, who's doing the commanding? Who's doing all the physical duels? Who's coming up for everything? Lindelof. Is Lindelof more physical than Maguire? No. Why is Maguire, who's played on the left side of defence for the last 2.5 years, playing on the right side of defence now? Because he's being faded out the squad by RANGNICK, and he will be faded out by Ten Hag. I know that Harry Maguire will not be Manchester United captain next season. He is being faded out as Manchester United captain, because if Ten Hag comes in a new manager and changes captaincy in the summer, it's not that big of a deal, you know. But they've told Ralf Rangnick he can't strip Harry Maguire of captaincy. Well, so what Ralf Rangnick's done is he's given Ronaldo captaincy, but Maguire wears the armband. Literally, I will tell you this now. Ronaldo is captain in the dressing room. Ronaldo is captain on the pitch. Harry Maguire just wears the armband so we don't get a negative social media PR reaction, because the board, as I said earlier, I know I'm repeating myself, the board do not want to lose face that they spent 80 million on Maguire and he's been a flop and that he's bad. You know this club protects Maguire. Pogba gets booed, radio silence, Maguire gets booed. Let's cheer Maguire, let's support Maguire, Maguire this. You know, Maguire starts every game no matter how poor he is, because the board say you can't drop Maguire, he's our main centre-back. They want to make Maguire out to be this good for PR, for social media, so it doesn't look bad on the club for spending 80 million on Harry Maguire. That is all it is. Remember those leaks that came out? Remember this big Ronaldo Maguire bust-up leak that came out, that all the players thought Ronaldo should be captain and not Harry Maguire? They are all true. They're all absolutely true, you know, because if you think about it, are these players listening to Maguire? No. Is Maguire really captain? No, because if Maguire is captain, where's the control? You've got to look at this rationally. As a captain, when things are going bad, captain's job is almost to boost the morale and confidence and motivation within the squad. Where is the motivation in this Manchester United squad? There is none. Where is the morale in this Manchester United squad? There is none. When we conceded that goal, we were good for the first 15 minutes versus Everton. We conceded that goal 25 minutes in versus Everton and went flat. When Norwich made it 2-1, we went flat and let them back into the game. When we were 2-0 up against Norwich, we were cruising. We concede one goal, we fall flat. We lose belief. There's no belief in this squad. There's no desire. There's no fight. The only players that show some belief, desire, and fight are Cristiano, Ronaldo, and David De Gea. And they're the two players are the reasons why we got 3 points versus Norwich yesterday and 3 points versus Spurs. They're the only Manchester United players in this squad that show any desire, any fight, any passion whatsoever. Not Harry Maguire. All these dressing room leaks coming out, all the laziness on the pitch, the fact that Man City had 92% possession against us in the last 15 minutes of that game, that says it all about ability. That says it all about not ability. That says it all about effort. That says it all about work rate. And Harry Maguire as Manchester United captain should be lifting the motivation, lifting the desire, lifting the belief, you know, controlling the dressing room, stopping these leaks come out. And it's not all on Harry Maguire, but you know, when Man United are falling apart, when Man United is in the biggest state that it's been in years, it's absolutely falling. You do have to look at your captain and go, you're just letting this slide. Harry Maguire, when we lose, he doesn't go over to his teammates and give them a talk. He puts his head in his hands and he walks off, and then he probably sends out a leak blaming everybody else. You know, Cristiano Ronaldo, when Man United lose, he's in a strop, he's in a mood, but then he gets in that dressing room and apparently he riles up the players and he has a big speech with them, he has a big chat with them. Who's the captain? Maguire? When we lose, giving up halfway through a game, putting his head in his hands and feeling sorry for him, or Cristiano Ronaldo frustrated that we lose, is because he's got that winning mentality. Ronaldo has that winning mentality, De Gea has that winning mentality. Maguire does not have a winning mentality, which is why he will not be captain under Erik ten Hag. He will crumble under Erik ten Hag, because we know from Donny van de Beek, we know from Erik ten Hag's current players that Erik ten Hag comes in and he demands this winning mentality. He's going to demand a lot from his players. And Harry Maguire is putting his head in his hands after one performance and crying and whinging and moaning. When Erik ten Hag comes in and has all these demands, he's going to crumble and he won't be captain. You know, he shouldn't be captain now, but he's captain because the club don't want to lose face. But Harry Maguire, I tell you this, will not be captain under Erik ten Hag. It might not be Ronaldo. He might not be it. But it is a joke. It is a joke. I will say that now. Take a pause and breathe, Alice. I do need to. And Alice, would you pick NUNEZ or Osimhen? I don't know, because I do really like Darwin NUNEZ, but I don't know if he'd suit Ten Hag's style of play. I think Osimhen could be better for Ten Hag's style of play. as well. As Diego says, guys, please do subscribe to Alice Talks Football if you're new, and of course hit that like button. Guys, if you're watching right now and you're not subscribed to my channel, it would mean loads if you could subscribe to the Alice Talks Football channel. I go live every single evening talking about all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates, and more. So please do subscribe, and of course hit that like button as well. Can we go for 250 likes by the end of the live stream? I know it's a big ask, but it'd be amazing if we could get to 250 likes before the end of the live stream. Now, I know I've been ranting about Maguire, Pogba, and all of that for the first half an hour of this video, but what I want to say is I don't like how when Maguire gets booed, everyone speaks out and protects Maguire. When Pogba gets booed, we're acting like it's okay. That's what I don't like. I also don't like how the club tell Ralf Rangnick he has to play Harry Maguire and can't strip him of captaincy because it will look bad, and they don't want that stuff getting out all over PR and social media because it will look bad on them. That's what I don't like about the club. I don't like the control. I don't like the bias towards the white, English, British academy players. I mean, I do not like how, you know, McTominay, Rashford, Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, it won't matter what they do. They will always be protected by this club. But we won't show the same protection for Anthony Martial. We won't show the same protection for Paul Pogba. And that's what really gets on my nerves, because I'm not saying that Harry Maguire deserves to be booed, but Harry Maguire deserves to be booed more than Paul Pogba, because Harry Maguire has been a lot worse than Paul Pogba this season. And I think we can all admit that. I think that United are obsessed with some of these shit players. Absolutely obsessed with some of these shit players. And I really hope United drop this agenda. I hope United say to Ten Hag, yeah, you can sell Maguire if you want. If Man United want to get rid of their dressing room issues, if Man United want to advance forward as a club, they've got to give Ten Hag what they promised them. Man United promised Ten Hag he has a veto over selling, buying, and contracts. So I don't want to see United giving, you know, Harry Maguire a new 3-year contract behind Ten Hag's back. If Ten Hag wants to sell Harry Maguire, even if we're only going to get 20 million for Harry Maguire, we let him sell him. If Ten Hag wants to strip Harry Maguire of captaincy, even though it looks bad on your part, the board, for spending 80 million on the worst captain in my lifetime, you've got to let him do that. Because I generally think Harry Maguire is going to go down as Manchester United's worst ever captain. And I actually think it's unfair to give Harry Maguire the armband, because he needs to work on his own performances. You know, Roy Keane, when he was captain, was the best player on that pitch every single week for Manchester United and had the most elite mentality. Even when Maguire was playing well, he's never had a captain's mentality. We need to strip that armband off Maguire and take away that responsibility from him, because as a captain, he's not doing the captain's role. He's not even, as I said earlier, Maguire isn't the captain. De Gea's doing post-match interviews. Ronaldo's doing team talks. Lindelof's doing commanding at the back. Maguire isn't doing any of his captain duties because he's given up on that, because he's been so bad. Maguire needs to focus on his own performance and have the captaincy given away from him, because I don't think captaincy is doing Maguire any good. And the only reason I might be more harsh on Maguire is because he is captain, so the standards we demand from Maguire is a lot more. But we need to strip that captaincy away from Harry Maguire, because he's not captain. We've got Tony in the chat saying, yo, Pogba gets booed every day. Tony, why is that? Why is that? Because if you've got a logical reason, let me know. But I don't think there's a logical reason to want Paul Pogba to get booed every day. I disagree with that as well. I'm just frustrated. I do want to get into some other news as well. We've obviously talked about Maguire playing right centre-back. We've obviously talked about how Maguire basically isn't captain. Like, as I said, Maguire isn't Man United captain. Ronaldo is. Maguire wears the armband for show in the dressing room. Ronaldo's captain. It's come out, dressing reports, leaked sources saying that Ronaldo is essentially the captain. He's the one doing the talking to the players. He's the one doing the team talks. He's the one doing the motivation. Because if you look at the games, we didn't have Ronaldo. Manchester City, we did not have Cristiano Ronaldo. When do you say was the biggest fall in terms of attitude? Actually, this is a good point I'm going to make. That Manchester City game is probably the worst performance I've seen from United in terms of effort and desire and motivation. In the last 15 minutes versus Manchester City, we had 8 possessions, they're 92%. We're 3-1 down, we had 8 possession and we'd given up. Okay, have you noticed that Man City game didn't have Cristiano Ronaldo? And I think, you know, we were poor versus Everton, we were poor versus Liverpool. But if you look at every single Man United game, and if there's a game where it's very clear the players are giving up, you would go to that Manchester City game when we lost 4-1. And it was very clear the players are giving up. And that was the one game Cristiano Ronaldo wasn't there, where he wouldn't be in the dressing room commanding stuff. Harry Maguire was in the dressing room at half-time, and we came out in the second half absolutely given up. Absolutely given up. So you know Ronaldo is captain, because if you look at the last few games, Ronaldo hasn't been present at the match. And did you know Ronaldo wasn't even present at the Man City match? He was in Portugal, and there were leaks coming out saying that it was Ronaldo's fault. We lost 4-1 to Man City because he was in Portugal. Some Man United player was saying it's Ronaldo's fault for going to Portugal, why we gave up. And do you know why that leak came out? That it was Ronaldo's fault we lost 4-1 to City because in Portugal. Because even though we were 2-1 down to Man City at half-time, the players wanted Ronaldo there so he could do the team talk, because Ronaldo is the captain of Manchester United. When Ronaldo wasn't there and Maguire had to do the team talk, we had our worst second half ever. Worst ever second half. 92% possession to Man City. We'd given up, no motivation. And Ronaldo wasn't even there. You know, other games we've been poor, but we were never that poor. And Ronaldo was there to put some motivation and desire into the team. That one game against City, which is the worst game in terms of effort, desire, and motivation I've ever seen from Manchester United in my life, or ever seen in football in terms of players clearly giving up. Ronaldo wasn't even there. You know, if you notice that United have been poor, but there's some desire from Ronaldo, some desire from Fred, some desire from De Gea, and that's about it. You know, when we've got Ronaldo, the team doesn't completely fall apart. When Ronaldo isn't here, the team completely falls apart. And I'm fed up of this. Ronaldo's the problem. Ronaldo's not the problem at United. No, Ronaldo was not the solution. We needed to see him, but he's not the problem. Because when Ronaldo's not in that dressing room, when Ronaldo's not on that pitch, this team falls apart. We are bad with Ronaldo, but we're 10 times worse without him. 6 of our last 7 goals have been scored by Cristiano Ronaldo. He is our captain. He is doing all the team talks in the dressing room. If you look on the pitch, who's the one coming up to the players after the match? Ronaldo. Who's the one having chats to player after the pitch? Ronaldo. Maguire is not talking to the players. Maguire walks off. Maguire's not doing team talks. Maguire's not doing commanding. Dressing room sources have said Ronaldo is essentially the captain in the changing room. Maguire wears the armband. Maguire wears the armband because we're social media FC, we're PR FC. We don't want a media reaction about Maguire being the armband stripped. But in the dressing room, Cristiano Ronaldo is the captain. And dressing room leaks have essentially confirmed that. And we know that Cristiano Ronaldo is the captain in the dressing room, because when Ronaldo isn't in the dressing room, we're even worse. You know, we're bad now, but without Ronaldo, we're even worse. And that's the worrying thing. 6 of our last 7 goals have been scored by Ronaldo. And I keep waffling about Ronaldo. I haven't even got into the transfer news, and I do apologise. But what really irritates me, and I think it was the shitty Daily Mail, but there was a story coming out this morning. There was a story that came out this morning, and you won't believe the story that came out this morning, but the story that came out this morning was essentially that Manchester United apparently need to get rid of Ronaldo and that he's causing dressing room issues. This story by the Daily Mail that came out yesterday was basically saying that Ronaldo is the reason the Manchester United dressing room is unsettled, and that United need to get rid of Ronaldo because it's causing dressing room issues. And I read this story and I thought, so Ronaldo's just scored a hat-trick, yet the English media have come out and with this story that the dressing room is unsettled because of Ronaldo, and the first thing Ten Hag should do is get rid of Ronaldo to restore the dressing room. So Ronaldo scored a hat-trick. Ronaldo scored 6 of our last 7 goals. Ronaldo's the only reason we're not 15th place, and Ronaldo's the only reason we're not having the worst ever season in history. I think we are having one of the worst seasons. Ronaldo's the only reason we're not an absolute complete finished club. He's carried us. Yet the media, the English media, are coming out saying the first thing Ten Hag should do is get rid of Ronaldo. And there are United fans, and there are people in the English media already saying that Ronaldo is the reason the dressing room is fallen. No, the dressing room fell before Ronaldo. These players threw Mourinho under the bus, they threw Oli under the bus. You know, United was shit before Ronaldo. We've had these problems before Ronaldo. Ronaldo's the only thing holding this team together, because when he's not in the dressing room, it collapses. And it really annoys me that there are stories coming out, there's media articles coming out saying the first thing Ten Hag should do is get rid of Ronaldo. No, it's not. Yes, Ronaldo doesn't fit into Ten Hag's system, but if you seriously think getting rid of Ronaldo is going to sort the dressing room issues out again, think again. Yes, Ronaldo coming in and probably demanding captaincy over Maguire's caused some disruption. We know Maguire does not like Ronaldo because he's threatened by him. But Ronaldo's not the issue in that. That story just absolutely irritated me. Norwich are not Real Madrid. Exactly. We should have beaten Norwich by more. It was embarrassing. Pay 10 million to Leicester to take Maguire back. Honestly, I would. Noah says give Rashford to Liverpool and get 40 mil. The thing is, I think Rashford could become a really good player at Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp in a good system with good coaching. I will protect Marcus Rashford a little bit, and I think Marcus Rashford's drop in form has been due to the fact that the last 3 years the coaching around has been so poor. If you think of the people Ollie brought in, the coaches Ollie brought with him wouldn't even get employed at Sunderland or Cardiff. You know, and if you look at not just Rashford, but how everyone's abilities just changed in the last 3 years. Bruno's got worse, Martial got worse, Greenwood got worse, Rashford got worse. All our promising players in that first season under Ollie have got worse in the last 2 years, and that a lot of it is down to coaching. I actually think there's a good player in Rashford. I think his decision making is poor, his IQ is poor, and he's poorly coached. I look at Rashford and I don't think that's a bad player. I think it's a player that's poorly coached, because we know Rashford on his day is a good player. He's just playing ridiculously bad. His decision making is ridiculously bad. I think Rashford is a decent player that is poorly coached, and I'm not going to make excuses for Rashford. I think that he needs to do better, and he's been absolutely woeful. But I will jump to Rashford's defence. I think put Rashford with a good manager in a good team, and you could see the best out of Marcus Rashford. But that is an unpopular opinion as well. And Kumaran says Ronaldo is only a small problem, not a massive one. He isn't getting enough chances, and he still scores goals for fun. Exactly. This is my theory on Ronaldo. Ronaldo will not work under Ten Hag. Ronaldo is not the solution, but Ronaldo is not the problem. You know, Ronaldo and De Gea will not work under Ten Hag, but right now Ronaldo and De Gea are probably the best two players we have in terms of mentality and the only ones performing. So yeah, they're a problem at this club, but they're the least of our problems because at least they're actually doing their job, unlike other players. That's how I feel about it. Noah says, guys, please do hit that like button and of course subscribe if you're new. Can we get 250 likes by the end of the live stream? We've got over 250 people watching and we're on 150 likes. We need 100 more likes in the next 15 minutes. I think you guys can do that. So please hit that like button. It costs absolutely nothing. And of course, as I said earlier, please do subscribe to Alice Talks Football if you're new. If you want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates and more, please do subscribe. Tomorrow night, I'll be live around 7 p.m. for a Manchester United versus Liverpool match preview. So do subscribe for a match preview to Man United versus Liverpool tomorrow. And then Tuesday night, I will be doing a watch along to Manchester United versus Liverpool. So I do watch alongs to every Manchester United game on the channel. I do match previews, match reactions, transfer news updates, and live shows interacting with you guys every single evening. Manchester United updates live on the channel. So if you are new, please do subscribe. It would be appreciated. The camera has gone completely out of focus. The camera's like, shut up and stop asking people to subscribe. But camera, oh my god, why is my camera gone out of focus? But yeah, if you are new, subscribe because as I said, I'm live tomorrow for United Liverpool match preview. I think we're going to get battered by Liverpool, I'm going to be honest. And Tuesday I will be live for a Man U versus Liverpool watch along, which honestly, if I'm going to be honest, Man U Liverpool is always a game I look forward to, but I'm really not looking forward to Man United Liverpool because I think we're going to get absolutely embarrassed. I'm not going to lie to you guys. The Man United Liverpool game is got a little bit of fear in me. I've got a little bit of fear for that game, and I think most of us do as well. United should send the under-23s on Tuesday. I mean, they should. They probably do a better job than the first team, but I don't think it'd be fair on them. But guys, should we actually get into the transfer news? Because I'm meant to be talking about, this video was meant to be about Ten Hag's assistant. Ten Hag's new assistant is announced. Was not announced. It's confirmed. And I haven't spoke about it. So basically, the Mirror have confirmed that Erik Ten Hag's assistant will be Mitchell van der Gaag. Mitchell van der Gaag obviously worked with Ten Hag at Ajax. He will be Ten Hag's assistant at Manchester United. The Mirror had said that Ajax were trying to persuade Van der Gaag to reject United's offer, but his relationship with Ten Hag has won the argument. Van der Gaag is fluent in 5 languages, obviously English being one of them. The Mirror said that Van der Gaag has developed a reputation for developing young players, a quality that will resonate with Manchester United. Van der Gaag offers Ten Hag a second pair of eyes and has outstanding man management skills. They also say Van der Gaag usually watches games from high up in the stands and gets a better view of the game and remains in contact with Ten Hag and the Ajax bench. So Manchester United's assistant coach, Ten Hag's assistant, Mitchell van der Gaag, he has a very good relationship with Erik Ten Hag. He will be coming to Manchester United, and apparently he has a very good reputation of developing youth players and actually working on player development, and he watches games from a different position so he can get a better eye, but he communicates with the Ajax bench and Erik Ten Hag. Has a very good relationship with Ten Hag. What I really like about Mitchell van der Gaag is this is Ten Hag's man. I said what United need to do differently with Ten Hag is let him bring in his own backroom staff and let him veto incomings, outcomings, new contracts. Where managers have previously gone wrong at Manchester United is they haven't been able to choose their backroom staff. They've had to have an ex-player in there. They've had to work with Ed Woodward, who is luckily gone, and they've not been able to choose who gets a new contract, who's brought, who's sold. Erik Ten Hag said to Man United he'd only join if he could bring his backroom staff, B, he's allowed a say in ingoings, outgoings, and new contracts, and he can veto any of them, and 3, he's allowed to work closely in player development. United have promised Erik Ten Hag this. Let's hope they keep to their promises. But the fact that we haven't said, no, you've got to get an ex-player in, and we've let him get the assistant he wants is good. We're letting Erik Ten Hag bring people from Ajax with him, which is very, very good for United. Because I was worried that we'd say, no, Erik Ten Hag, you've got to work with Michael Carrick. And then we'd go back to square one. No disrespect to Michael Carrick, was actually quite a good manager. But you get the gist of what I mean. Payet just got fouled, did he? What game is on at the moment? Alice, how was your Chelsea? I mean, I don't support Chelsea, but I did watch Chelsea Palace. Unfortunately, Palace didn't go through, but Chelsea always beat Palace. But Ten Hag's allowed to bring in his own staff, which is good. Because I think the coach at United is awful. And what I like about Van der Gaag is apparently he's got a reputation for developing youth players. And as I said, guys, this is the best youth academy United have had in 10 years. And we have a reputation for overhyping our youth academy, but Man United are in the FA Youth Cup final for the first time since 2011. So this is our best youth academy since 2011. The youth academy of Paul Pogba, Lingard, Ravel Morrison, Michael Keane. But we've got Garnacho in the youth academy. We've got Charlie McNeil. We've got Joe Hugo. We've got Shola Thierry. We've got Alanga, obviously. Hannibal Mejbri, Kobe, this young midfielder, kind of reminds me of Paul Pogba. Alvaro Fernandez is looking very, very solid at left back. We've got James Garner, obviously. We've got Dylan Levitt. We've got loads of good players. And, you know, Erik ten Hag and his assistants and his system at Ajax is almost the perfect management system for developing youth. You know, you look at the rebuilds that Erik ten Hag's on Ajax, you look at the youth he's brought through. When United need a rebuild and when United have got so much youth that they could utilise into this first team, Garner, Mejbri, Garnacho are probably the three names that stand out to me. I think this is a perfect time for the like of Erik ten Hag and Mitchell van der Gaard to come in because I think they're the right men. Someone with a reputation of developing youth and rebuild. What do we need right now? A rebuild and developing youth. And we know from people that have worked under Erik ten Hag is that Erik ten Hag has a reputation of completely changing the mentality of the dressing room. What do Manchester United need? A complete rechange of the mentality in the dressing room. We need winning mentality installed. Ex-players have said what ten Hag does when he joins the club is he installs winning mentality. He hires the expectations, he hires his demands, and he changes the mentality of the dressing room. The Man United players need that. What else do United need? Development. Have our youth players developed? Has Rashford got better? No. Has McTominay got better? No. Has anyone got better? No. Exactly why ten Hag needs to bring his staff that have a reputation for getting people better. What do we need? A rebuild. What does ten Hag done? 2 successful rebuilds at Ajax. Very, very good. And this is why ten Hag's perfect. But ten Hag will only work if the board changed. Luckily, ten Hag won't be working with Woodward. I think Arnold, Murta and Fletcher, while they're not perfect, while they're not the best people with the job, are better than Woodward. But I think anyone is better than Woodward. He won't be working with Woodward. But if we let ten Hag absolutely sell who he wants and absolutely buy who he wants, it'll be right. It's 2-2 Pite assist from a set pieces, Daniel. Interesting. Will Donny finally play for United, said Rose. I won't lie. If ten Hag starts playing McTominay and not Donny, I will generally be like, he's told to play McTominay, not Donny. I generally have this theory that United, there's some kind of clause in Donny's contract where if he plays a certain amount of games, we've got to pay some money. Because I don't know why Donny played so little games. I'll be absolutely shocked if ten Hag doesn't play by Donny. Premier League have just updated the fixtures. We play Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea in 9 days. We do. Look, if we can get 6 points versus Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea, I'll take it. I think realistically we could get 1, maybe 3. I think we'll beat Arsenal. I think 4, draw Chelsea, beat Arsenal, but that is an absolute marathon as well. Buying Pogba was a mistake. When Ferguson let a player go for free, buying him back for a huge deal was just dumb. I think buying Pogba back and losing on a free, you know, it's going to look like a flop. It's going to look like a mistake. Again, I don't think Pogba should be booed. Again, I don't think Pogba's the problem at United, but I think Pogba, ultimately, you could say the transfer has been a bit of a flop in terms of expectations. I want to get into the transfer news quickly here, because I think the transfer news surrounding United, all right, at the moment, is quite interesting, guys, and I think you'll find this interesting. We've actually been linked to NUNEZ, TCHOUAMENI, and ENZO Fernandes. Now, ENZO Fernandes is an Argentinian player. I believe United will buy someone in the Premier League. United will pay more money and buy a CDM in the Premier League. We don't like going for those hidden gems. Even though I think the scouting and recruitment department at Manchester United need to start looking outside the Premier League because value for money and rebuilds and youth and bringing through foreign players will be better. But Enzo Fernandez news. So Manchester United could be willing to advance for Enzo Fernandez and have obviously sent scouts to his recent game. And Enzo Fernandez, the midfielder, would cost United 17 million. We have been scouting him. This has come from an Argentinian source. I could not tell you if they're reliable or not. I'm not familiar with Argentinian sources. We've also been linked to Robert Lewandowski, but that has come out from Sport, not the most reliable source. So I don't believe we will get Robert Lewandowski, if I'm going to be honest with you, so I'm not going to get into that. But apparently, United have spoken to Lewandowski's representatives, which we probably have, considering he will be available. Julian Lawrence from ESPN, very good journalist, has said that one of the players Erik ten Hag has earmarked is TCHOUAMENI. He's very much an Erik ten Hag player, and his transfer fee would be 60 million euros, which is 50 million pounds. I'd love TCHOUAMENI, and what has come out about TCHOUAMENI is that TCHOUAMENI would prefer a move to the Premier League. Now, look, ten Hag wants TCHOUAMENI. He'll be about 50 million pounds, so he's much more affordable than other options. He's young, which fits the box as well. United is a step up from Monaco as well, better league. TCHOUAMENI wants the Premier League. TCHOUAMENI is a United fan. He actually likes and retweets a lot of United stuff. I don't know if you guys knew that. He's a big United fan, And Tchouameni's obviously very dynamic and very intense with him without the ball, which is obviously going to suit Ten Hag. And Julian Lawrence has done this whole report on why Tchouameni would suit Ten Hag and actually why Ten Hag wants Tchouameni. And apparently, although United are looking at Calvin Phillips and would like to advance for Calvin Phillips, Ten Hag's first choice seeding would be Tchouameni, which for me, I think Tchouameni is the better option. £50 million, very good for international duty, very good for club. He's very versatile. He's very young. He would suit Ten Hag's style of play. For me, I'd like us to go for Tchouameni. Guys, we're only 66 likes away from 250 likes. We want to hit 250 likes by the end of the live stream. I'm ending the live stream in 10 minutes. So can we get 66 more likes in the next 10 minutes? We've got 250 people watching. If everybody watching that hasn't hit that like button, hits that like button, we can maybe hit our goal, 250 likes by the end of the live stream. So guys, please hit that like button. It's absolutely free to do. It costs nothing. And also, if you are new, you're welcome to subscribe to the channel. If you see my face for the first time, you're wondering, who is this girl? I do daily Manchester United content on the channel, so you are more than welcome to subscribe. I will be live tomorrow night for a Manchester United versus Liverpool match preview. I'm sorry if I haven't read out many live chats in today's show, but in tomorrow's show, I will be interacting with a lot of my live chats and a lot of you guys. So, you know, I will interact with you guys tomorrow in my match preview to the Liverpool game. And then obviously Tuesday night, we'll be doing a watch along to Manchester United versus Liverpool as well. So do make sure you subscribe for that daily United content. It costs nothing to subscribe. Back into more news. There was a report from David Kent of the Daily Mail saying that we're looking into Everton's teenage centre-back Jared Braithwaite. Not much has come out on that, so I think if there's more news on it, I'll talk about it, but I just think it's just a name being thrown around. And then obviously Matteo has come out and said that it's very likely that Darwin Nunez would join a Premier League club. So we've been told that Tchouameni and Nunez are likely to join Premier League clubs and want Premier League clubs. Chelsea, obviously, with the ownership issues, are kind of out the race. Could United be getting Nunez and Tchouameni? Apparently, we know from Fabrizio Romano. Now, Fabrizio Romano is a very, very reliable source of information. Fabrizio Romano is the Don of transfers. And we do know from Fabrizio Romano that United are looking to get a CDM and a striker. And I think our first choice names are Calvin Phillips and Nunez, but apparently ERIK ten Hag would prefer Tchouameni. I'd be happy with Tchouameni, Nunez, and Timber as a transfer window. I don't know how you guys would feel. We know that Ten Hag likes Timber and Anthony. We know that he likes Tchouameni, and we know that Nunez is a player that would like Manchester United and is strongly linked with a move from very reliable sources linking us to Nunez as well. What I will say about Timber is I watched Timber play today. I watched the Ajax game, and I really, really liked the look of Jurriën Timber. I really, really did. What I liked about Jurriën Timber was his confidence he had. He's very quick, Jurriën Timber. He looks very composed on the ball. His positional awareness is very, very good. He looked much. Maybe it's the coaching at Ajax, which is why he's got such good positional awareness. But he's, 22, isn't he, Jurriën Timber? Very young, worked for Ten Hag, can play in Ten Hag's system fast. But his positional awareness, his confidence on the ball, his composure for such a young centre-back and in such a big game, I thought he was absolutely brilliant. And for me, I'd love Jurriën Timber, I'd love Tchouameni, and I'd quite like Nunez, but I don't know if he's a 10 out of player. Watching, if you want my honest opinion. And I think the discipline in Jurriën Timber is what makes him look so promising as well. I will have to say that as well. I don't know what you guys feel about Timber. I don't know if you guys watched the name, but I was really impressed by Timber. And obviously, for Fabrizio Romano, the Don of transfers, we know that Romano said that United will sign a midfielder and a striker. They'd like to address 4 positions, maybe being centre-back and right wing, that are also viewed as a priority. But Manchester United's first 2 transfer priorities, confirmed by Romano, a CDM and striker, which I believe will be Tchouameni and Nunez or Calvin Phillips, one of those. Then I think we'd be looking at the likes of Timber, maybe Anthony, maybe even someone like Kamara on a 3. We know Samuel Luckner said United are expected to make 4 signings. Fabrizio Romano said that Manchester United are expected to make up to 5 signings, maybe even. Romano said that he thinks United will sign 3, 4, maybe even 5 players. But Nunez and Tchouameni are probably the ones to keep an eye on, actually, and Timber and Calvin Phillips as well. But I don't think Calvin Phillips will actually want to come to Manchester United. Guys, Ralf Rangnick has said some things about the game. Ralf Rangnick's spoken about Paul Pogba being booed, Garnacho, and obviously his press conference to Norwich. So I want to quickly address some of the things that Ralf Rangnick has said in a second. Timber would be a great replacement for Maguire, says Daniel. I agree. Sanjay said he wants Rooney back at Old Trafford in 5-6 years from now. If he does well, then yes, but only if he deserves the job. And Daniel says back 5 against Liverpool will tear through. Back 4 is like tissue paper. We're fucked versus Liverpool either way. And yes, we do have to back Ten Hag or R. Riot says. I don't know how to say your name, but yeah. Stop dreaming. I should stop dreaming. Our front 3 next season should be Ronaldo, Rashford, and Greenwood, in my humble opinion. I'm assuming that's a troll comment as well. I might do a video on Mason Greenwood this week. I'm not sure. And when I say video on Mason Greenwood, it's because I got a lot of questions saying what's going on with Greenwood. There's a lot of rumours he's coming back. And I was going to do a video basically saying this is the situation with Greenwood. It's unchanged. This is when the bail expires. This is what will happen. Just to, because I keep getting asked on it, but I'm not sure if I should. If we beat Liverpool, that's basically our trophy this season. It's embarrassing, but that is true. Steve says he thinks Fulham and Bournemouth and Huddersfield will go up. Norwich, Watford and Burnley will go down. Yeah, I agree with that, to be fair. Although I do want to see Nottingham Forest come up. I think Nottingham Forest would be a really, really good game as well. Honestly, I've got a spot on my ear. It's so painful, which I've just noticed as well. Guys, please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. Of course, hit that like button. Of course, hit that share button. I want to quickly address some things as well. Address some comments. So, obviously, Garnacho. Alejandro Garnacho is 17 years of age. I talk about this guy a lot. He's an absolute baller. Alejandro Garnacho, 17 years of age, academy player. Alejandro Garnacho has basically carried us to the Youth Cup final. He's been so good. He's a winger. He can also play striker. He's got 8 goal contributions in 5 games in the Youth Cup. The FA Youth Cup is like the highest level of, you know, youth football. It's like if you win the Chelsea Academy, we used to win it a lot. He's basically got 8 goal contributions in 5 games in the FA Youth Cup. He's got 17 goal contributions in his last 21 academy games. He's got called up for the Argentinian national team, Garnacho, training with Messi. That's how highly regarded it is. 17. At age 15, he was playing for under-19s in the Atletico Madrid Academy. We actually got Garnacho from the Atletico Madrid Academy, and Atletico Madrid were desperate to hold on to Garnacho. And we know Atletico Madrid produce a lot of good young forwards from South America. They've got rep for it. You know, Garnacho was actually one of Spain's best ever youth academy players. He's now gone to Argentina. Spain and Argentina fighting over Garnacho at 17. Man United managed to get Garnacho, who's been absolutely brilliant for us lately. And obviously, he was there on the bench for the Norwich game. And Ralf Rangnick said that Garnacho is a player that hopefully, if he keeps his feet on the ground, if he keeps trying to get better every day, that the future will not only be sitting on the bench, but at one stage also playing for Manchester United. Ralf Rangnick, you know, addressing the potential of Garnacho. Garnacho, Mejbri, Charlie McNeil, and Hannibal Mejbri, and James Garner will be really exciting. Someone just said that something. We should try Garner and see if he's ready. I think we should try Garner. I think Garner would really suit Ten Hag's style of play. Ten Hag plays a 4-2-3-1. Garner as a pivot. I don't think Garner's good enough to hold on his own, but Garner in the pivot with someone like Donny, I think would be quite good at United. I could see Ten Hag doing Garner, Donny, Bruno, or maybe. I don't know. We're only 45 likes away from 250 likes, guys. It's absolutely free to hit that like button. Let's go for 250 likes. If everybody watching that hasn't hit the like button hits that like button, we can hit my goal of 250 likes by the end of the live stream. So please do. We've got some great young players coming through. Garnacho, Mejbri, Garner. I think Ten Hag's going to give them a chance. Rangnick asked about Man United getting top 4. Just going to have a quick sip of water quickly. Rangnick spoke out and said, obviously, mathematically, Manchester United are still in the race for top 4 and that they know results are good. But he said that we should have 8 more points in the 5 months that he's been here because there's been games where we dropped points we haven't deserved. Rangnick was asked about Paul Pogba being booed. Ralf Rangnick said on Paul Pogba being booed, he didn't hear Paul Pogba being booed, but he was told after the game that Paul Pogba was booed. He said he can understand the fans being frustrated, but he doesn't think the fans should be booing individual players. He says that's not right, that's not fair. Rangnick's spot on. Rangnick also said that regarding the Norwich game, Rangnick knows that we beat Norwich, it's a good 3 points, it's a good win. But what Rangnick said is this, and this is what I think is a big point. Ralf Rangnick said defensively he was not happy at all. The result elsewhere was good, but it doesn't make sense to look at other results. We need to raise our game. Rangnick also said we are probably the only team in the league that concedes goals like that. Ralf Rangnick knows Maguire's an issue. Ralf Rangnick knows the defence is not good enough. Ralf Rangnick cannot believe how bad the defence is and how many silly goals we're conceding. Ralf Rangnick said United isn't an issue. We need to prove defensively. Ralf Rangnick is not blind, and I think that was a very good comment from Ralf Rangnick. Daniel says James Garner will be a good addition to United squad next season. I think he will really. I think especially with the poor form of the midfield and him being fresh and wanting to prove himself, I think it's exactly what we need. It will be a miracle if we beat Liverpool at will. If we beat Liverpool, guys, I'll be fucking gassed. That'll be our trophy, stopping them win the league as well. Geek Cup says we need a new owner. Yes, but that's like saying water is wet. I absolutely agree with you there, mate. And Garner has the vision and the composure of a player who will continue to grow and get better. I absolutely agree. I've watched Garner play a couple of times, and He just, McTominay backward, sideways passing, Garner forward, through ball. I'm not going to compare him to Pogba, but do you know what I mean? He's probably got much better vision than Fred and McTominay in terms of creativity, but is also more defensively sound as well. Yeah, definitely. We got lucky against Norwich. We are proper awful. Ten Hag must be a glutton for punishment walking into this trap. We were poor versus Norwich, which makes me feel like we're going to get battered versus Liverpool. Man, you were in for a hard game, as Steve said, exactly. And Garner would give McTominay a kick up the arse, probably better for. Yeah, probably would. And I think Ten Hag is the type of manager, with Ollie out, it's always going to be McTominay, always going to be Shaw, always going to be this player, always going to be that player. I think Ten Hag's the type of manager to give someone else a chance. I can't see it being McTominay with Donny under Ten Hag. I think Ten Hag really is the type of manager that is going to change it up for United, which I think will be really, really interesting as well. Guys, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe if you are new. I do live streams every single day on the channel. I'm going to be live tomorrow night around 7, maybe 7:30, to do a Manchester United versus Liverpool match preview. We obviously play Liverpool Tuesday night. So if I didn't answer any of your live chats, I do apologise. I'm going to try and get through a lot of live chats and questions tomorrow. We've got a lot to talk about in tomorrow's show. I haven't even covered half my notes for today's show. I just went on about Paul Pogba getting booed for so long. Please do subscribe. I will be live Tuesday for a Manchester United versus Liverpool watch long. And then straight after the match will be my match reaction on Tuesday. Tomorrow night I will be live for United versus Liverpool preview with some more transfer news, updates and more. I will be live Wednesday just going through news and all of that. We've got Arsenal, Liverpool and Chelsea in the next 9 days. Next 9 days, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea. So there's going to be watch-alongs, match previews and match reactions to all of those games. News on all the transfer news and latest as well. So if you want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news and more, please do hit that like button. Also subscribe down below if you're new. But I am going to end the live show on that note, guys. It's been a very, very good live show today. Some very, very good people in the chat. Appreciate everybody tuning in. I talk a lot about Garnacho, the youth. I will talk about the youth and all that in a later show. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in today's show. Our transitions, we are way too slow. I don't understand how we used to play counter-attacking football and we can't play it now. I agree. We will talk about stuff like that in tomorrow's show. And as Steve says, season can't finish quick enough. Yes, season very long. I can't wait till the season's over. I will say that. But in the next 9 days, 3 tough games, and I'll be doing watch-alongs to them all. And hopefully I can enjoy those games and not cry about how bad we are. But big up, everyone. Like, subscribe if you're new. I'm back tomorrow. See you then. Bye.